Welcome to experiment 2 of industrial electronics. Start with this software called Proteus. So today we are going to perform something about op-amp integrator and differentiator. We learned the theory in the today's class, but since the lab has arrived earlier, we will cover that. Uh, so op-amp is basically an amplifier. You can consider it as a triangle looking like this with having a two main connections, positive and negative, and then there is output. We are going to use something called as 741 op-amp, and typically input is given like this between the op-amp positive terminal, and it has a gain of around 10 to the power 5 or something, a very high gain. And it is typically limited by two supply voltages, VCC, which is positive 15 volts, and then minus VE, which is negative 15 volt. And your output can have a swing between plus 30 to that total 30 volts plus 15 to minus 15. And if you apply 1 volt and it has some 1 lakh gain, don't assume that it will have 1 lakh volt at the output. It will, you will only have whatever you have at the input plus at max for VCC, but not even a VCC. It is typically zero point 0.9 times of the VCC. So you cannot have more than whatever you apply at VCC, and again that VCC and VE has their own limits as per the data set. So you cannot generate tens and thousands of volts at the output of an op amp. Remember, for any amplifier it is always limited by, क्योंकि अगर इनपुट वोल्टेज ही नहीं है उतना तो आउटपुट पे वोल्टेज आएगा कहाँ से, हवा से तो प्रोड्यूस नहीं होता। तो एम्पलीफायर का काम क्या होता है, जो वीसीसी आप देते हो या जो सप्लाई देते हो उसमें से एक्स्ट्रा करंट लेके आउटपुट बूस्ट करता है। सो इफ यू अप्लाई 0.00001 maybe 1 nanovolt or something, then you definitely get a gain of 1 lakh. But if you apply 1 volt, which is already a strong signal, you will not get a 1 lakh gain to this. So remember this particular concept. And why this? So this is the concept about amplifier. Why the name op amp? Because it can do different operations, and today we are going to learn. So it can do addition, subtraction, analog multiplication, and so on so forth. So today we are going to learn something called as integration and differentiation operation of the op amp. So for that, the write-up is already shared with you. I think it's in your chat box. I just checked that. Yeah, it's already shared with you. And if you go through this chat box, download this. So today I will just show you integrator. You can do similar way differentiator and fill up this table. So let's start with the experiment. So in the Proteus, I hope everybody has downloaded it. You can click on something called a new. Once you get a new project, just click on next, 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 next. So you should reach up to this particular page. There might be some lag, so remember I just click next, then nothing. Next thing is go to the place component. If you look at the diagram carefully, I don't know, some wrong diagram I opened. If you look at the diagram very carefully, you should see that it does have something called as U1, which is IC741. So let us search for that component. Go to the component over here, go to the place and type 741. Now you should get this particular IC, select that, OK, and then place this IC somewhere in the center, zoom it, OK. Next thing, what you need as per the circuit diagram is VCC and minus VE, just I explained in the lecture also. So let us start that. We have seen last time how to use battery, type BAT, go to the miscellaneous and you should find the battery over there. Click OK and place this battery. Now I said it should be 15 volts. So what you can do is don't change the string, double click on this icon and change it to 1515 and say OK. So automatically this string will change. Now to make a copy of the battery, what you can do is select the mouse pointer, select this particular region, make a block copy, and now you paste it. Okay. So once you paste it, you can press escape to come out of the loop. Next thing you need as per the diagram is the grounding between the two supplies, and then you connect the plus VCC terminal to 7 and next VE terminal to 4. You can remember these pins by using the name of the IC. 7 VCC, 4 is your minus VE, 741. One is not connected. So let us go for the grounding. Go to the terminal mode, choose ground, place this ground somewhere over here, and then you connect that ground टू बोथ द बैटरी. यहाँ पे एक बैटरी का निगेटिव ग्राउंड के साथ कनेक्ट होता है, दूसरे बैटरी का पॉजिटिव. नेक्स्ट स्टेप इज पॉजिटिव टर्मिनल प्लस 15 goes to pin 7 and negative terminal goes to pin 4. So this is the complete connection of op-amp. So if you are doing any experiment with op-amp, don't forget to do this biasing. You can't just give signals and you will get output. That will not happen. So this is the biasing of an op-amp. Let us see the diagram now. You need a resistors. I hope I can zoom this up a bit. Yeah, I think I remember the values. It's 1K and 100K, or it's 10K or 100K. Let me just open it on a regular PC. Okay, now I can zoom in a bit. Yeah, it's 10K and 100K with a capacitor of 4 nanofarad. So we need a few more components. And also, if you see the waveforms today, we are going to give our integrator and differentiator. So let us put those also. For integrator and differentiator, we need a sine wave and a square wave. So let us first put the components required. Go to the place, type RES for resistor and press enter. It will give you a resistor whose value is already 10K. Now you can block copy, or you can just click again and paste another resistor, double click on the component value and change it to 100K. So I have placed 10K and 100K. Now remember that this particular op-amp is working in a inverting OR mode. That is, negative terminal will get an input. So I can just ground the positive terminal directly. What do you mean by a negative terminal? If you see in the diagram, which I have poorly drawn, I just clear it out. If you see, op-amp has positive terminal, तो यहाँ पे अगर इनपुट देते हो तो इनपुट जो है वो उसी फेज में रहता है आउटपुट के, जबकि आप अगर नेगेटिव टर्मिनल पे इनपुट देते हो तो आपका आउटपुट जो है वो पूरा इन्वर्ट होके आता है. तो यहाँ पे आप प्लस वोल्टेज दोगे तो यहाँ पे माइनस आता है, and that's why it's called a inverting terminal. So this particular configuration is inverting. Now to do the connection, there is a feedback resistor. We will see why this resistor is very important, otherwise the gain is uncontrollable. And you connect this resistor and then connect the other terminal. So the connection is complete. Now let us understand how to put the sources. I still have to put a 4 nanofarad capacitor, which I will put later on. So let us go to the place component, and I just bring a cap. So you can say CAP for capacitor, click OK and just place it over here. Need not connect it. To change the value to 4 nanofarad, double click it and change it to 4 nanofarad. Click OK. To bring the sources, first you click on a generator mode and click on sinusoid. So let us place a sinusoid somewhere. Okay. And to see this sinusoid waveform, we need a CRO. So go to the instrument, select oscilloscope and place the oscilloscope. Next step is you connect a signal generator to the oscilloscope to see the signal, and you double click on the generator, select sine wave, amplitude 1, frequency, let's say as per the table we need it to be 1 kilohertz because this F in kilohertz. So we will just set it to 1000 hertz. Okay. And next step is you run the simulation. So you should see a sinusoid waveform on your oscilloscope. You want to increase its magnitude, you can do it with this volts per division knob. And if you want to change its time division, you use this time per division knob. Okay, it's a clean sine wave available with 1 volt peak to peak, that is 2 divisions now. So 2 into 1, so it's 2 volt peak to peak, that means 1 volt peak. Now only one channel is connected, channel A, channel B, C, D. Again you have separate volts per division knob, and this is for the moving waveform, the trigger. So we might not use it ever. Don't close your CRO from this cross angle. Always stop the simulation. Okay, now I want to see how this particular op-amp amplifies. So here the gain is controlled by a resistor ratio, that is 100k upon 10k. So output will be 10 volts, and that too will be inverted 10 volts. So I just put a op-amp to my one of the channels and I connect the input to the resistor. So let us see whether the amplification happens or not. So now I got a large waveform. Let me set it to 10 volts. So again, it's 10 volts. Why I'm calling 10 volts peak? Because total 2 divisions into 10. So 20 volts peak to peak. So it's a 10 volt peak. Now it is better if I see the sinusoid input as well, so that I am sure that input is getting amplified. So I will just connect the input maybe from the top. Now sometimes these lines don't agree where you want to take them to. So what you can do is just bring it somewhere, click, then you go straight, then again click, and then you come to this point, click, and then connect. So this is how you can control the motion of these lines. And once you draw them, even later on you can right click, say drag wire, uh, and then just move those wires, something like this also you can do. So anyways, our main motive is to see the amplification happening. So now you can see this is the input waveform. If you place the both input and output on same volts per division, you can see a definite rise in the voltage. And if you adjust the time per division knob, you will also see that. So I will change both to 5 volts per division. So this is the rise, and let us see whether the phase shift has happened. So I will just change the time per division knob, and I will bring this to ensure that you clearly see that whenever a positive wave of blue cycle is going, a negative wave of yellow cycle is going. So that clearly indicates there is a shift in the that is negative sign, and frequency is absolutely matching because peak to peak it is matching. So let us now see what happens if you connect a capacitor to this. Also, if you want to change the waveform, what you can do is double click on this. Let us say I need a square wave. You can select a pulse with 0 as logic 0 as 0, 1 as logic 1, and maybe pulse width of 50% with frequency of 1 kilohertz. Don't forget there is a rise time and fall time to the equation. Now, what do you mean by rise time? If you see a rectangular wave practically will never be a something like this. Ideally, it will always have some time, and this particular time is called rise time. Again, while falling also, it will have some finite time, which we call it as a fall time. So this is the concept of rise and fall time, and they are typically set to 1 micro. Don't need to change them. Pulse width is 50%. That means whatever you set as T on will be same as your T off. So this is what we call T off, time for the pulse to remain off, and this we called it as a T on. And total time T is T on plus T off, which is equal to 1 upon F, which is the frequency that you set. So everything is set now. Just see if we get a square wave, and here the inversion will be much more clearer also. You can see the inversion is happening, and also you can slightly see what I was talking about. Not a very perfect rectangle. They will have 1 microsecond delay. Now this was about a square wave. So what will happen if you integrate a square wave? it is a constant, so K becomes KT. So I know we hate this word, but basically it's the ramp signal. So T is what in, if T is 1, output is 1 volt. If T is 2, output is 2 volts. So that is what you call a T. So it should become a triangular wave. So if you give a square wave to the what you can say integrator, it should become a triangular wave. And now let us form the final circuit of this integrator. I just press escape, click on here, and then click on the next side, and now let's rerun. So this is what you will see. It's not a pure triangular wave, it is kind of charging and discharging of this capacitor, so that's why you are seeing this kind of waveforms. But that's all you need to take a print screen of this, measure the voltages. Now how we will measure the voltages, that is the next part of this experiment. Now we have to apply sine wave of different frequencies and then eventually plot a magnitude response, or what we can say, whether it's a low pass filter or a high pass filter, and so on and so forth. So let us understand how to do that part of the experiment. Let me just stop this simulation over here. Let me start with Excel. That is the easier way to plot any graph. I don't know, some attendance is already waiting, so I'll just save that and close it. Okay, so let us start with frequency and corresponding. We are measuring V peak to peak, so I will just write VPP and let us start measuring them. So first is sine wave of 0.001 hertz, and what will be the V out. So let us see what is the V out for that. So changing this to sine wave is very easy. You can just click on this sine 1 volts. Now it should be 0.001, that is 1 hertz. Click OK and then click on run. So you will see something, but its time per division is very low. So you have to change this so that you see that there is an actual waveform at the output. And I will also change this to, let's say, 5. So, and I will adjust this waveform to one of the starting points. So now I can see 1, 2, 3, 4 divisions into 5. So 20 volts at the output. So I can write 20. Oh, it's already written 20 over here. So that's great. For 1 hertz, I am getting 20 volts. Let me change the frequency from 1 to, let's say, 100. I don't know. You have to go as per these steps at 100, 200. So let us do that. It's very easy. You just press stop, double click on this, change the frequency to 10 hertz, click OK, run again, measure the magnitude again. So again the time per division knob has to be adjusted because you have increased the speed. So again you will see 1, 2, 3, 4 full division into 5 volts. So again 20 volts. Let me go back to the Excel. Let us enter this value. For 10 hertz also the output is 20 volts. Now next thing is let's say you need to increase it to 100. So again click stop, double click, change the frequency to 100, click OK, run, and now again you zoom in with the time per division knob. You can see it's still 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can still write 20 on an approximate scale. Next is 1K. So for 1K frequency, let us see what is the output. Go back, click stop, double click, and let's say 100,000. Okay. And now you will see that output has reduced. So now it's very difficult to measure this thing. So what you can do is change this step side to 1 maybe. Then align it to one of the axis. Let me just get rid of this blue line. So now you can measure 1 division, 2 divisions, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and above that there is, I guess, 3. So it is 7.3. And the volts per division now was on 1. So it becomes 7.3 volts. So just go to the Excel, write 7.3. Now next reading may be at 10K. It will be even smaller. So let us do that. Stop it. Double click on it and you say this to be 10K, or you can write 10,000 also. Click OK and then rerun. So again you have to adjust the time per division knob, and then also I guess now volts per division knob also I need to adjust, but I will try to measure. So I don't see, it's not even a 1 division, so I have to go down. So let's put it to 0.1. Now let us measure. So 1 division, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. Almost 7 divisions into 0.1 makes it 0.7 volts. So yeah, that is the next reading, 0.7, sorry, 0.7. Now let us plot this graph. So what you can do is select the data, go to the insert, select recommended charts. Okay, now this will not look exactly what we desired because the values are what you can say logarithmic. So what I can do is I just remove this. First let me type this as 1000 and this as 10,000. राइट में चला गया था क्योंकि उसने 1 के एज ए टेक्स्ट ले लिया था, सो इसीलिए प्लॉट भी गलत किया उसने. Let me go back to this. Okay, now it is perfectly plotted, but now I need to change the axis to the logarithmic. So let us click on axis and double click on axis. Yeah, let me have a visible axis and go to the axis options. Yeah, somewhere it should allow me to change it into the logarithmic scale. Yeah, this is the final output, and you might need to see the fitting to it. So in the plot you can go to the insert and choose a recommended plot, this one, so that you get the final. So it's clear that integrator allows lower frequency to go through and blocks higher frequency. So this waveform shows it's a low pass filter. Now you have to repeat the entire experiment for the differentiator. Not very difficult one, very slight change in the circuit. You have to connect this capacitor in series, change the value from 2K and 20K, and rest of the circuit is same. Again, those who are feeling uncomfortable measuring the output on a CRO, they can use potentially a DC voltmeter or a AC voltmeter, but they will get a value of VDC or VRMS as per the multiplication factor. They can find V peak to peak, or they can keep it as it is. Make sure that you change this to perfect number. So if you are writing V peak to peak, you can write V peak to peak, otherwise you say VDC. And then your graph might show the similar characteristics. Values may not be 20, something else will be there. So let us see how to connect a DMM. I will just stop. Never click a CRO cross. You always have to press stop, otherwise this thing will not appear again. Go back to the meters, go to DC voltmeter. You can place the DC voltmeter, connect it to channel A and then connect it to the ground and then rerun. So it's 0.41, that reading you can see 0.41 is half of this 0.7 almost, because it's VDC, it's the average DC voltage. So peak to peak measurement and your DC readings might vary. And if you want to put a AC voltmeter, you can do that also. You can just get rid of this DC voltmeter and then you can put a AC one. Again, you should get some reading. And it's better to measure it on oscilloscope. So it is, see, it's 0.28. So this is VRMS of this particular curve, and it might fluctuate over a period. So that's how you get a AC or a DC voltage at the output using a meters. So with that, we'll stop recording, and if you have any doubts, you can ask.